Hey Victor, how you doing? First. Actually, I was here first. I'm just waiting for the editor to sort itself out and roll up onto the screen, but it hasn't yet. Hope you're doing okay, Victor. Welcome along. For those of you watching later, this is a quick update for Apollo 16, day 7. Hi, Gemini. How you doing? Good to see you. So this is a quick update for Apollo 16, day 7. I'm going to show you where I'm at and what's been going on. And eventually, when the editor actually loads itself up, it's at 60% at the moment. There's quite a lot of data on this particular video so far. Takes a while. Hope you guys are okay on chat. If you've got any questions, please ask as I'm going through, and hopefully I can answer some. Here comes the screen. There we go. Presently, then, this is showing the traverse to station 6. And I'll show you some back stuff in a minute. But I've been working on the picture series that Charlie took. I'm not synced at the moment. I'll show you what I've got to do yet. This picture series then, which he took as they rolled out to Station 6. So trying to capture the moment he took the picture, which is the most important thing here. So if you have a look on the left-hand side of the screen, the DAC on the left-hand side here, hopefully you can see my mouse. I think you can. Um, on the right-hand side, blown up at the moment so I can see it because I need to be able to see the picture, is the picture that Charlie took from the right-hand seat. And as you can see, if you look on the left here, you can see these rocks. Um, and because if you notice on the DAC, the camera was slightly elevated across the top of the DAC, across the TV camera. So we've got the DAC taking the video. It's at 1 frame a second. So just zoom forward a little bit. There you go. 1 frame a second it does. So I'm going quickly there. And then what I'm looking for is a particular point where, in this case, this rock comes into view. We see behind them the craters, and you also see them on the picture. So here they are in the picture that Charlie took, and it's basically the same view. He's looking over the top of the TV camera, as is the DAC. He's slightly to the right of the DAC. You can see here's the on the picture. Here's the TV aerial, so he's slightly to the right of the DAC, but and then the DAC is slightly elevated above the TV camera, whereas you can see his camera is pointing a little bit below it. So when trying um, to sync up these pictures, you really have to look to the left and the right and a little bit into the distance, making sure first of all that this is kind of the same. It's not probably at the exact second he took it, but it's near enough. This rock here is on the right hand side, and then there's this other rock on the left hand side here. You can see with the one next to it, and there it is again, and there are the two rocks. I'll give you another example. So this is an easier one. It didn't take quite so long to find. So you can see the rock is the same there and here. So this is just about exactly the same time Charlie took it during the traverse. And that's the name of the game here, is to try and get these pictures exactly synced to the DAC. The DAC I had a little bit of trouble with because it wasn't set to 1 frame a second. I've had to readjust it, and I finally got it to where I want it to be. I'm about to finish off this piece of editing tonight now while I'm online, so you'll see the finished result a little bit. Not too much of it though. I'm not going to give everything away. And then I'm going to go back to the synchronization of the TV with the DAC, which I didn't actually know was something I would need to do, but I did, which caused me all sorts of problems on frames per second. Um, as they're obviously shot at different frames per second, but trying to get the DAC up to speed on the 1 frames per second was quite difficult. But I'll show you that in a minute. At the moment, what I'm doing here, you can't see on the editor, but I'm increasing the time these pictures are seen on the screen. They're not going to be seen like this. You'll see the whole thing come together in a second. I'm just increasing the time that we're seeing them on the screen, which will be on the bottom right. I completed all the. that's the last picture he took. I'll show you the start of that one. Again, so you can see the angular rock here. This is what I when I'm in the chat with you guys, I'm talking about the eyesore, the amount of eye strain you do around trying to, excuse my throat this evening, about trying to sync these things up because they do take a little bit of time. So it's taken me about an hour or so to go through each of these photographs. There were about 25 that he took on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, yeah, around about 25 he took on the traverse over to station 6. And so the eye strain has been trying to match these up, but they're finally matched. Now they need to go into the right place. So these pictures have to come down in size and come under this little box I have, which shows down below the LMP camera. The DAC needs to be increased on the right here to fit into the frame. Make sure that that fits okay, which it does. Just need to copy that. Copy the key attributes of that one. Just going to zip that down for me. Move this across. And then I'm going to paste those all into the same place. So now we'll get kind of this.
I want to follow my tracks down this thing. That's fine. Okay, we're riding at idle right now, and she's picking up speed.
I left the pictures on for about 5 or 6 seconds, so although they're taken in the, at the actual second, you do get to see them for a bit longer. Here comes another one.
Okay, and we would like...
That's the picture there. Now, because it's got smaller on the screen, you're probably finding it hard, but I can see it on the big screen absolutely fine, that that's the right picture at the right place.
Station 6 at the lowest terrace on Stone Mountain and a blocky crater if possible.
Now, when you're watching this DAC go forward, I'll zip it forward for you. When you're watching it, it really does show you the amount of turns John makes around the terrain, trying to avoid the big rocks and the craters. And there's a point where they stop, which is coming up here. Just there, they stop. It just stops. And they survey the area they're going to stop at next, and they do a 180 around. You see the tracks come round, and then they stop again. And the DAC stays on for quite a while after they stop. It's quite a nice listen to as they're talking. I'm going to also add in the map at the beginning of this sequence so you can see where they're going to, and at the end here. So although at the moment that's blank, haven't done anything with that yet, I'm going to add in the map. So I was looking at the really high resolution lunar reconnaissance picture of the Apollo 16 site, worked out where Cinco A was, which wasn't difficult. And then I can then start to mark on that map properly what we're seeing and where we're at. So that's the sequence I've been running on tonight. So I started, it's UK time, started about 6 p.m. So 2 hours ago, doing this particular sequence. I thought I'd just nip online and show you guys where that's at. So we've now got all the pictures, and that then adds into the fact that all the pictures are in right the way up to from station 4 to station 5 to 6. I'll show you the timeline on the screen here so you can see it, how much has been done. Oops, not like that though. Push that back in there. There we go. So here's the editor. This is the amount of work that's been done on 16 so far. Just zip it out a little bit so it's a bit easier. So if I zip all the way out, so again, top here is all the audio which is edited. You see all the breaks in it as I've edited through. They're not breaks in the audio. They're just stop points I've used to to a certain point that I want to get to. So I usually just split them up. If I wanted to, I could just zip that back and it would be the complete day 7 again. And it's just on 8 hours, coming up to 9 hours at the moment. Store the DAC up here on the right hand side out of the way so I know it's there. And each of these that you see here are the TV broadcasts they used at each station, leading back to the LEM here. And then you can see the work I've done. So this is the start of the day. You can see at the top, probably at the top here. I'll zoom in a bit. No, you can't see it on the screen, but you get an idea. These are the checklists. So if we zip this up, you start to get the checklists on here, and then we'll put other diagrams in there. And then this is the start of day 7 all the way back here. So I've still got to put in the wake up stuff, the checklists that go in there as they're ready to get into their suits. And then this slide starts, I think it's just at the start of the EVA. There you go. Start of here's the egress stuff, which is in the checklists, and then we'll follow that through until we get TV, and then you'll see zipping across here. So checklists continue up the top there, and then I start to change it into when we get just zip that back. When we get pictures come in, start to change the screens to these, so you start to see the
Charlie 164.
You start to see the LMP camera and the CDR camera during the EVA, and then when you aren't seeing those, I'm gonna, like I have here, you can see here are all the pictures. If I zoom in a bit, I know you can't see very well. Here's all the pictures. There you go, that we need to put in, and then during the actual EVA, so this is part of it. Here's a pan that they did, but when we're going into station 4, so here's the traverse to station 4, and here's station 4, and then every time there's a picture taken by the commander or the lunar module pilot, by Charlie or by John, they then go in there. Obviously, I turned them off, so that doesn't help. So there you go. There's the picture taken by John. I put some of that in the Station 5 stuff, which I put on the channel the other day to show what was going on there. And the one thing I really wanted to show you tonight was, so when I say Station 5 is done, this is Station 5. The only thing I've got to do is add in the bits in the middle here where there are no pictures. At the moment, they sit with this graphic, but I'll take this graphic out and I'll put the checklist in so people can follow along what was going on, and some pictures of the map that they were using at the time. They moved from station 4 to 5 with these pictures, and basically there is no DAC of that. I've still got to put in the checklist in here, but that's just rolling the DAC pictures that Charlie took. The camera pictures that Charlie took, and then moving into station 5. So this is all now complete. All of the TV is synced up to what was happening with the cameras, which has been one of those eye strain moments. As you can see, here's the station that they were at, and they were there for just over 43 minutes. In the 43 minutes, they took all these pictures at the various sites when they were picking up the rocks and documenting them, and then in between those, I'll put the checklists. Eventually, that doesn't take very much time because the checklist doesn't really change very much, and it's very easy to find which one is the right checklist for the timeline. So they're quite easy to do. The bit I really wanted to show you, which I'll take this off here, put this back up here, I'll give you the screen again. The bit that I'm really interested in showing you is something which I came across, which I kind of knew had happened. We're seeing the end of the Station 5 TV here, and you watch Charlie here. He's standing next to the rover, and he doesn't say he's doing it, but he leans over in a second here, and he turns on the DAC. And I didn't realize that's what he'd done until a little bit later. When I watched the DAC, zip back down there, he's turned the DAC on, And then you hear John go to the front of the rover, and here comes John. Um, it's a great piece. It's a great bit of Apollo. Really love it. John comes over and brushes the TV camera. As he does so, Charlie seems to jump up and down, but that's because the rover TV camera is being moved by John, who's brushing it. So there you go. There's the sync for that. And then Charlie gets onto the rover, so you're going to see him jump on as John finishes brushing. Charlie reaches out to the left there, and on he goes. And there's the jump on the camera as well, as he moves the rover as he's getting on. And at that point, they then ask John to turn the TV camera off, and you'll see John coming around. There he goes, switching the TV camera off right at that point. So just as we lose it here, John pushes it there. And believe me, syncing that up was quite an eye strain and a few hours of trying to get that right, because I don't think it's ever been synced up before. I don't think it certainly wasn't done at the time. I certainly can't remember seeing anybody do it. So we've now got the whole record, and this picture of John on the moon, he's turning the TV camera.
This is Apollo Control. Young and Duke have now been on the lunar surface.
What a great piece of film that is, of John on the moon. And so I realized that the synchronization had to be done, and you keep the TV camera at the same frames per second. I had to change the DAC back to 1 second a frame, which is what Charlie put it at. Once I'd done that, the thing just synced up. So, and I know that because I've done this bit as they start to move. So they're stopped stationary right now. Have a listen to the audio. So I haven't changed this. I've just synced it to 1 frame a second, and this is what happens.
And Charlie, DAC on as you start driving.
Okay, we're in and on our way. It's already on.
Okay.
And the rover just starts up as soon as John says we're on our way. So these things I say on I put on the community part of the channel and say, these are just amazing things. They may be amazing to you, they may not be, but they are to me, because I sit here night after night going through these things, watching this stuff unfold before me. Similar to the arm coming down to pick up the rock the other night, which I put on the community part of the channel. It's just amazing when you see these things start to come together, and you see I'll show you a bit with Charlie here. Here he is at the end of Station 5. He's about. I'll just take it back just a second. He's changing he's changing the film on the camera to magazine I, and I'm glad he told me that, because it would have taken me a while to find out where it was, which ones I was taking. And he fires off a couple of pictures. The only one available is the second one that he takes. But if you watch his movement with the camera on front of his chest, you can see he's got the film pack in his hand. He's about to drop it in, and then he's going to fire off 2 pictures, which hopefully I've synced right. So here we go.
Okay, we can see it works.
You see him fire off the 2. So finding stuff like that, and just having to. I mean, I've watched this part of the EVA maybe 14 or 15 times, and you get used to what's going on. Then when you add the pictures in, you kind of know what you should be seeing at each picture. Following the Apollo Lunar Surface Journal is vital. If we didn't have that resource, I'm not sure I could do it the way I do it, because that document is the bee's knees. It's the one you should be reading along to when you're watching this stuff, because it tells you every single thing you want to know, and also gives you quotes from Charlie about what was going on. But it shows you about when the picture is taken. It's not always accurate. There are some times when it's not quite right. I found that during this part of the EVA, um, but it's pretty accurate. Um, and yeah, so the last thing I wanted to show you tonight was I'll show you the picture from Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and how I'm using it, and how I'm going to use it, because I haven't used it yet on this film. But that was just basically an update. I will come to the chat. I know I've not really watched this way. So hi everybody. Hi Eleanor. How you doing? Touche Turtle. A myopic view of life will always be pointless. Oh, okay. Apollo 16, the ones that investigated the alien shipcraft. I don't think so. Um, that's Apollo 18. Yeah, I agree. Um, there was definitely something interesting about Apollo 16. Every single moon mission there was. Yeah, I'd agree. Don't get caught up with conspiracies. There's absolutely no point. If you watch this stuff, you'll realize how real it actually is. I am amazed every time I watch this stuff, and when you start to put together the pictures with the film and the film with the TV broadcast, and you sync it, you realize that how real it was. Anyway, that's all I was going to come on to say tonight, and I shall close off there just to say thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying watching the series. And again, somebody asked me today how much time it's going to take to get this thing out. I said that mid-December is probably a very good estimate. There is a lot to do with this particular video, and a lot of work still to go through. But I'm hoping that by mid-December it's out. It might be slightly earlier than that if I can work some, but it is all in my spare time, and I do have to, I have other things to do in my life, and so I do it as much as I can. I'll probably put in about 6 hours this week, and I've covered nearly 2 of the EVAs. So with another 2 of the EVA with the TV camera. So we've got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 TV slots where I've got to put all the pictures in. And then between there where Charlie was taken and the DAC that's got to go in. So yeah, I would estimate between late November into mid-December if I can keep up this pace. And there you go. Thank you, JK. Appreciate that. And I will catch you all later. I'm going to end the stream there. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.